Like he said, to the anchor of this event at the master ceremony was that not without his assistance because he will be right with me all the way getting through. Without much ado, please permit me to quickly follow the program of the event. Once again, permit me to say a very good morning to your excellencies, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the chairman of today's event, the ESCO members of the Hour Chapter 84, Abuja, Nigeria. Very quickly, from my program of event, I have the singular honor and privilege to introduce the chairman of today's event. Just like it was said that the list of his shoe I am worthy to untie, I was a privilege to read his citation. Very robust, well experienced, active, not tired. Please help me. Just listen as I just take an abridged version of his citation. The former AGM of Environment and Resettlement for PACN, that's between 2002 and 2007. He's also the former head of Environment and Community Development, that's an NDPHC. Presently, he's a partner in the Association of International Right of Way consultants, please. Okay, please forgive me. You know, when professors write, you have to get your glasses to read them clearly. All right. Okay, prior to all the above, there was a pandemic of chemistry laboratory satellite power station. That's between 1978 and 2002. Please, the rest of our applause. That's how many decades ago? Okay. Okay, he also supervised all way leave activities, that's the NEPA stroke PHCN. He was in charge of all way leave action, that's an NIPP from its inception till 2016. Please, if your hands are not too busy and they're not on red, please help me make welcome with a round of applause. Chief IRWA, and I welcome you to the high table, please. Please take part of the again. Please, I need somebody to come forward. Please come on, don't worry. Don't worry, don't worry. So we worry, sir. Please come forward. We worry, sir. Please. Please. Keep part of the guest seated. Thank you. Thank you. Now the chairman of today's event. What an honor to have you here, sir. So it means that today's event is not the normal type of event. It's an event that will, of course, leave you with great impact. Moving away from there very quickly, permit me to quickly recognize and bring also up to the high table the ESCO members of the Hour Chapter 84. Please help me make welcome our president, active, working, day and night. I met him yesterday. He was still here till late hour, making sure that all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted for this event to be very successful. A round of applause, please, for Kola Ola Yodi. Please keep clapping. This is another presidential, please. Presidential clap, please, you do. You're very much welcome, sir. He's our very own chief host. Welcome, sir. Thank you very much. All right. They say for every head to move freely and easily, there is usually a neck very active and working. Please, for our own Vice President, Chapter 84 of our, please help me put your hands together for active and working Vice President. No one for Mr. Idogisi, N.U. Aman. You're welcome, sir. Don't look at the gray hair. He's very active in heart, very young, very humble. He came in here, all the small boys, he greeted them before we could greet him. You're welcome, sir. God bless you, sir, for all you do.
Ṣé tí wọ́n bá
And of
jí o mọ̀ bọ́
course,
ṣe ń kí nílé?
you know his name.
O mọ̀ bọ́ ṣe ń kí
Elements
nílé?
of God. And I love it because it's either he's working the work or the work is working him. He's always very active, never getting tired. They call him organizer at some point because he makes sure that things are well organized and are put in place. For our own very IRWA chapter 84 secretary, help me make welcome with a round of applause. Mr. A.K. Chukwude. You're not clapping like you love me. I'm supposed to put chief right before you make because let's clap. All right. Okay, just be there for now. Okay. You know, he said it earlier, they are working together. So put him on the high table is like AJD, where you can break every barrier. I know him very well. And of course, also very active, working and making sure that things are in order. The treasurer of IRWA, chapter 84, please help me make welcome with a round of applause, Mr. Amido Shuaibu. You're not clapping like him. Okay, he's coming very shortly. I think he's trying to attend to some treasury related matters. And also, with all this, very we have the international director of IRWA. Please help me make welcome with a round of applause, His Royal Highness Gaya Nasiru Maji. We're not clapping like we love him too. Okay, he's also not present at the moment, but I'm very sure he will be seated in no distant time. And also to be recognized, please let me put your hands together for the Education Committee Chairman, IRWA Chapter 84. Please let me put your hands together for Mr. Philip Wachuku. Round of applause, please. And also for recognition, please, the Professional Development Committee Chairman, IRWA. Please let me put your hands together for Mr. Raji T. Adewale. A round of applause, please. You're not clapping like you love me to applaud. Okay, you're welcome, sir. I haven't done justice to these introductions. Please permit me to move very quickly because time is ticking very fast and has no respect for almost for any man because it's abided by his integrity. Very quickly, I will be handing the mic over to the chairman of today's event, and we'll have the privilege and honor for him to give us the chairman's opening remark. And immediately after that, I will also have just immediately after that, I also have the privilege of also welcoming our. Well, thank you very much. Thank you, the IT committee, for being very prompt and doing. Thank you. So, please help me put your hands together as I welcome our chairman of today's event, IRWA, to please give us the chairman's opening remark. A round of applause, please.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The VAD chapter president, the vice president, and the income other members of the expo. Our members, our guest speakers, the members who are not there but joining us virtually. I want to believe that this is not a true reflection of our membership. Most people want to take on stage. So I welcome you wherever you are, members. I want to thank the SBO for giving me the honor to be chairman of this event. Actually, I registered to be a participant, but there's no end to knowledge. But eventually I was asked to come and moderate. So I'm going to remain strictly as a moderator. So I want to thank all of us for being present. The topic or the theme of this seminar is very appropriate. Very, very well handled by the experts who have chosen to deal with them. The only thing I want us to understand is that because this is a hybrid event, we have to keep strictly to the time so that those who are not here with us find interest in remaining with us because we are keeping to time.
Chairman of today. And before I give my keynote address, I would like us to stand up to give honor to our past president, SRWA Emmanuel Mark, who passed on about a week ago. Let us please observe a minute silence while we stand up, please. May his humble soul rest in perfect peace. On behalf of the executive and members of the International Right of Way Association, Chapter 84, Nigeria, it is my pleasure and privilege to welcome you all to this seminar on better right of way management and maintenance. This theme is chosen because poor management of already acquired right of way is one of the major challenges in infrastructure and development in Nigeria. The question is, how? One, delay in payment of compensation. Two, lack of right-of-way protection by the acquiring authorities. 3. Encroachment on redundant acquired corridors. 4. Lack of or inadequate budget for protection, management, and maintenance of acquired right-of-way corridor. And lastly, 5. Mismanagement of unused acquired right-of-way. All these are not as a result of failure of engineering or legal framework. The laws exist. What is missing is better management and maintenance of already acquired right-of-way by right-of-way professionals like you and I. However, knowing the problem is not enough. This seminar is to remind us of the need to move from diagnosis to action. Today, within the next couple of hours, we will hear from our renowned experts on methods, policies, standardized compensation framework, and enforcement models that have been adopted and working in subdeveloped nations, such as the United States of America, Canada, South Africa, and so on and so forth. Such solutions include GIS mapping of right-of-way corridors, deed policies for utilities, faster compensation procedures, processes, and enforcement models. Our goal is to provide MDAs, ministries, departments, and agencies, states, and other regulators with recommendations on international best practices for better right-of-way management and maintenance, which will help reduce infrastructure costs and speed up project delivery. I must acknowledge the presence of our partners from the government and private sectors. Your presence shows that this is a shared problem requiring a shared solution. Our resource persons, thank you for the presentations you have for us today. And to our members, I urge you all to be frank and leave here with clear next steps to take. Let me conclude by saying this. Infrastructure is not just steel, asphalt, and concrete. It is also the legal and institutional corridor that protects it. If we protect the corridor, we protect the investment. If we get the right of way right, we get the infrastructure right. On this note, I declare this seminar open. I wish us all a productive deliberation. Thank you, and God bless the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the International Right-of-Way Association, America, and the International Right-of-Way Association, Chapter 84, Nigeria. God bless us all.
Can we give you a hand clap and an applause, please? All right. So that was the opening remark of the Chapter 84 President of IRWA. Very old, revered, and hardworking president. Okay, to move very quickly, like the chairman has already advised that we stick to time because everybody It's not just time for short time itself is precious and very expensive because that's the only universal asset every man has access to at equal amount. To bring up our first keynote speaker, permit me to welcome Secretary of the Chapter 84 IRWA to read his citation and as well bring him up. Please help me put your hands together for Mr. Henry Wachko.
Thank you very much. I want to start on already established protocols. I will be introducing our keynote speaker for today's event. He's no other person than the Director of Railway Services, Federal Ministry of Transportation, Nigeria. He is the fellow of the Nigerian Society of Engineers. He has extensive experience in transportation infrastructure, rail development, and right-of-way coordination for major national projects. His expertise spans policy information, infrastructure planning, and stakeholder management within Nigerian transport sector. Engineer James Zira is a renowned right-of-way manager. I had the privilege to meet him for the first time in Virginia Beach, Nigeria, where US, where he attended, represented the Honorable Minister for the annual conference. And that was the first time he mentioned the importance of managing right of way already acquired by government. Because based on his experience, he witnessed where right of way that were acquired by government were abandoned and the investment wasting. I want to call on stage Engineer James Zira. He'll be talking to us on better right of way management, maintenance, optimizing infrastructure corridor for safety, cost, and service. Welcome on stage. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Distinguished Chairman, members of the Treasury Right of Way Association, guests, fellow professionals, ladies and gentlemen. I'm about to address this gathering on a subject that is not fundamental to the particular development, transportation efficiency, public safety, and economic growth, and better right of way management and maintenance. For us, I'm privileged to work in the road sector for 32 years and now transport sector. And all through our project implementation, issue of right of way is very a burning matter. And because it's an occurring thing, I appreciate the fact that too we have our challenges when it comes to project implementation. Other cycles all inclusive. Somehow we have the challenge of having projects being fast tracked and the process all these things are not attended to. At the planning stage, If it's not there, when you come to implementation, it is the reality of what right of way activation has to do. And these things are usually transferred sometimes to the point of management. Across the world, major infrastructure investment depend on the availability, protection, and effective management of right of way countries corridors, whether for highway, railways, power, transmission lines, pipeline water supplies, then the communication networks for urban transit system. Giving every mature access to the lines upon a secure and properly managed right of way to function effectively towards design line. Most of our infrastructure design line actually these are some of the things that will come against us achieving the lifespan of those infrastructures. In Nigeria, billions of naira are invested annually in transportation infrastructure. However, the long-term sustainability of these investments is often threatened by poor right-of-way management, encroachment, uncoordinated utility installation, inadequate maintenance, weak enforcement mechanism, and insufficient stakeholders engagement. The challenge before us is not merely acquiring right of way or project. The real challenge lies in preserving, managing, protecting, maintaining, optimizing these corridors throughout their operation cycle. The theme for today is on the management of the right of way. And like I earlier mentioned, proud to manage it. There are a series of challenges that occur. I'm happy today because principally I used to think that issue of estate valuers has to do with acquisition only. Once you are where you go, your hands is off. But like I said, when we went to Virginia Beach, and I realized that there are more than that, and there are things that can be done if this association takes its right position, so that we engage all stakeholders towards achieving what the proposal right of way should be, and the benefit will be better and appreciated. This presentation, therefore, examines the importance of right of way management, highlights prevailing challenges, explores technological solutions, reviews international best practices, and proposes practical recommendations for Nigeria. Understanding right of way and its importance. What is right of way? Right of way refers to the legal right to use a detailed strip of land for transportation and utility infrastructure. It provides the physical space necessary for construction, operation, maintenance, safety clearance, expansion, and future upgrade of infrastructure assets. By definition, it shows that if you have a project, you must clearly understand what lies within the project corridor. Once you don't have that one, you try to situate your project in a particular place without getting these assets, or without having the knowledge of what it contains, then there's likely to be problem. We have instances where people who just have it, what they call hypothetical designs, and these days sometimes Google Maps are being used, you come and present their project. And if you just take that as part of your business study without the recognizer to actually know what is there, you are bound to find out problems because the real baseline information may be different from what you think. And two, sometimes when projects are being prepared, sometimes at the time of award, it takes time before implementation starts. And by the time you go back within that short period, you realize that a lot has changed, and that will impact seriously on the project implementation. For highways, the right of way accommodates carriageways, shoulders, drainage system, utility corridor, and feature road markings. For railways, it provides space for tracks, ballast, signaling system, communication facilities, drainage structures, safety buffers, stations, yards, and feature double tracking for electrification. This is our own local component. But really, if you look at our right of way highways design, I think we have issues that we have to raise. Most of our roads, even within township, There's no cycle track, there's no lane passage for people walking on the road. It's just the road. And by the time we start with it, that means we're afraid already because eventually these needs will arise and you see us doing damage repairs, trying to pave some place afterwards. And at the end of the day, we have problems. So the conversation is that with this understanding, we can engage other stakeholders. If we can have a platform of engagement whereby all those who are involved related to infrastructure come together and maybe we have what we have called a master plan, we can insist that this thing be done because whether we like it or not, it will impact on us. So we have a role to play to drive this particular question. The civil right of way cannot be the significance of right of way cannot be emphasized or overstated. It directly influence project costs. Delay in acquiring or protecting right of way often result in project variation, increased compensation claims, litigation, and cost redesign. Once there's a problem right of way, it's a problem. We have many projects like that we do not really articulate them. Like I said, there's misnomer most that when projects are being packaged, a design is being done for a road or a railway, and the truth is that most times when it comes to compensation, one will just assume a cost. Let's put so cost. But by the time you go to the site, if you're lucky in passing through towns where there are settlements, and then you see what is on ground, and based on the realities at that time, usually this amount is not always enough. And some projects are even abandoned because that's when you calculate based on what you think as infrastructure for the project itself, without looking at those associated costs, you are not likely to have it easy. Two, we also have delays because when you now have this right of way, when they passing through some communities or states, after a year or two, these state governments or local government may have their own project plan, which goes across your own. And if you don't interface with them, by the time you want to do your own, you see where you are trying to pass your rail line, roads will be there, other things will be there, and these things are problems. So the need for stakeholders engagement is important. We have talked about the first one. The second one is right of way determines operational safety. Encroachments within transport corridors expose both infrastructure users and nearby residents in accidents, injuries, and fatalities. Typical is again like a railway. Go to Lagos, arrive to Lagos, and you realize that the fencing that has been done there, people came and got the eye on the was cut off. So when the train is coming, they'll be on the track. When there's a stamp, everybody will be safe. Once it's gone, you come back again. Because we have accidents here and there. So it affects infrastructure lifespan. Uncontrolled developments, poor drainage, illegal excavations, and unauthorized utility crossings accelerate the duration of infrastructural assets. We see that when we construct our roads or drainage, because of lack of that engagement, you see people cutting the roads, what to do that time. You see all these fiber optic fibers to come along the corridor, they want to excavate and do their own. So, like an afterthought after this has been done. But if we know that it will come, there's something we can do so that even when you come later, you can be integrated to achieve what you want to achieve without having damage to the infrastructure. Right of way serves as a strategic national asset. Properly managed corridors create opportunities for utility integration, commercial development, revenue generation, and future expansion. So these are the benefits we get if we do this. Consequently, right of way management should be viewed not merely as a land administration function, but as a critical component of infrastructure asset management. Now, what are the current challenges we have with regard to right of way? Despite its importance, right of way management in Nigeria faces numerous challenges. The first one is land acquisition disputes. One of the most common challenges is land acquisition disputes. Many infrastructure projects encounter resistance from landowners, communities, and families claiming ownership rights over project corridors. So we value lands very well. Some particular places, land is still like second to none. When you come with a project, no matter how laudable it is, if you don't get the buy-in, it can be a problem. Sometimes we have issue of multiple ownership, you know. So people don't believe that even land belongs to either state or federal government. So if you come like this, you are bound to have problem with them. In some cases, multiple claimants emerge for the same parcel of land. Traditional land ownership system, undocumented transactions, and inheritance disputes further complicates acquisition processes. These disputes frequently result in project delays, increased costs, and prolonged litigation. We also have the issue of inadequate compensation. Compensation-related issues remain a major source of conflicts. Affected persons often perceive compensation package as inadequate or unfair. Delays in payment further aggravate tensions and undermine confidence in government projects. These are the current issues that we have. Those who have worked for us know that most times people who want this land are never satisfied. The irony of it is that even like one of the projects we are doing, the funders who pay the money still insist that there's a problem with our land because even after paying, now they are saying that we must have a certain action plan. That is more like a social intervention. Because the person you displace is beyond that displacement impact, beyond the physical infrastructure he has. That is cycle effect. That's so many related problems. So they are saying that we must have money to pay. And B are saying no, because the law says so. I don't know. I think we should passionately look at it so that by the time we agree, people's livelihood is taught at least so that project government impacts positively and life goes on the way it was with them. Inflation, rising property values, and urban expansion have increased expectations among project affected persons, making compensation negotiations increasingly complex. Community resistance and social challenges. Infrastructure projects sometimes face resistance due to inadequate stakeholders engagement. Communities that are not necessarily consulted may perceive projects as threats rather than opportunities. Lack of transparency in the acquisition process often leads to distrust, protest, and legal action. There will be the project most times when we have budget, most times we try to, I won't say delivery, but if it's a federal project, as it is situated within the community, it's important that those people who decide there are informed ahead of time, that this is what's going to be. Sadly, in our own environment today, because of so many differences, even political, people can go and sow seed of discord to present what that project is then. If the project is being done by the federal government, maybe the state is another party, and what have you, in order not to allow them to succeed, or mindful of the impact you have on the community, you see negative news being paraded, so that somebody in quote will not speak the glory. It's a project that's supposed to help the people. What's our mindset? These things happen. So the best way is to properly involve everybody so that when you do it and there's an issue, at least everybody will know that at the time when this matter was adequately addressed and everybody's in the know of what is to be done and about to be done. So it's very, very important. And the other reality is that these people that we meet are mostly brothers, living in the same community. So when you pay somebody, it's obvious you go and tell his brother and sister this brother was paid. So if you favor another person, then who besides you, another person will come complain. So transparency is very, very important, and also good that these days we do it with human beings. Because I know that the land is access when you have those lands, they are not entitled to anything. But somehow there's a way that some of these are addressed now. Once a way with for everybody. So I think a good proposition will address everybody so that there will be little or no complaint. Experience worldwide demonstrate that early and continuous stakeholder engagement significantly reduces conflict and facilitates project delivery. Have encroachment and illegal development. Encroachment represents one of the greatest threats to infrastructure corridors. Across Nigeria, rolling corridors, highways, and utility corridors are increasingly occupied by residential buildings, commercial structures, informal settlements, markets, and other developments. This encroachment reduce operational safety margin, hinder maintenance activities, and increase accident rates. So we are in a very poor society. If you go to some of our railways, do a farming for some time, you try to see someone will even go and build a house on top of it. You know, that wondering what the problem is there. And the right of way too. Even by the time you acquire them, over time, because of the basic problem of lack of assets, the ownership becomes a problem. If you go to most of the roads, well, even with the construct single lane for railway or for roads, the land acquired is more than enough to double to the track, double carriageway. But years after, by the time you come back, you have seen that the majority of that will have been acquired and you end up paying again. So we must find a way to ensure that once the things are done and people know that it's gazetted, then they'll be able to do the need because people look at loopholes. Once there's a loophole, they will take advantage of that and then it will be a problem on us and this leads to additional cost in addition to delaying the project. This enactment encroachment reduce operational safety margin, hinder maintenance activities, and increase accident risk. In urban areas, particularly, encroachment has become almost institutionalized due to the weak enforcement and population pressure. Weak legal institutional frameworks. Nigeria legal framework for right of way management requires modernization. While the Land Use Act, National Railway Act, and Highway legislation provide a legal basis for corridor protection, the increasing challenges persist. Overlooking maintenance among government agencies often cause overlapping mandates among government agencies often create uncertainty regarding authority and responsibility. We have the like in Lagos now, that the Jora rivers that are required because of the activities in that area. Very, very chaotic. Most of the flyovers around that area were built by the federal government. But Lagos state government said, no, these are land. But they still this and they very, very complex. So the problem, we have to find a way so that even those who are there, they are not able to touch up people, all types of government who want to live. You have a better way to be able to review projects project. That judicial process also delays enforcement action and dispute resolution. We have some of the cases where we have dispute some have been there for 10 years. So when you have this kind of problem, assuming there's going to be a project there, I mean, cannot continue because that matter of that. For land administration system, many agencies still rely on the fragmented paper records, incomplete cadastral data, and outdated land information system. The absence of comprehensive data database complicates identification of land ownership, boundary verification, compensation management, corridor monitoring. Without accurate records, effective corridor management becomes extremely difficult. I don't want to say some with caution. I just want to say that for the time we're invited by him, with all the land, all, they take back many years. And for the records, of them have some that other of some may deal with it. Therefore, you cannot locate exactly where they are. Must find a way for ease of reference so that whenever we are called, it's easy to find it. Imagine challenges, imagine challenge, unregulated information within the internet. A growing challenge in Nigeria is the proliferation of utility installation within existing transportation corridors. Telecommunication companies usually install fiber cables along highways and railway corridors. Similarly, gas pipelines, water pipelines, sewage system, electricity transmission facilities, and other utilities frequently require corridor access. While utility integration is necessary for national development, the absence of coordinated planning often results in repeated excavations, indiscriminate cutting, and uncontrolled quarrying activities. These interventions compromise pavement integrity, weaken embankments, damage drainage systems, and create safety hazards. In many instances, multiple agencies independently grant access without reference to existing infrastructure managers, leading to overlapping work and repeated disruptions. These are recurring problems. Why the national school advisor when there's a law now that says if you obstruct most of these things, like high level crime, they made an instance where one of these cases, this one is vandalism now. Why is it vandalism? Because the table was not properly situated. It is well done, you cannot just assess it and remove it. So they went and caught one of these fibers of even finding prevention work. So like it's sabotage, that's the way it's done. Now, for us to safeguard this, while doing a road corridor, we have all the plan, master plan, and future engagement on that corridor. You can have like an optic, complicated optic, maybe a pipe across the road for fiber, for water line, or water power lines, so that whoever wants to cross over, because there's a space and pay, then you access it. So if you don't do that one, these things will continue. And the service providers, for reasons not maybe not deliberate, when they take these things to put their fiber, when you are doing road work, there's an optimal compaction in the last one. But if you now dig it and you put it and you don't do it, it comes to weak stone. So when it starts raining, that place becomes weak, and by the time it's exposed, or they can easily access it. You know, sadly enough, they say that most of those who do these things are even party to what those who wait that. So they know it's weak, can easily come in and remove them. So we must find a way to show that we, during construction, we implement a design that will take care of all those things, so that those coming in the future can easily participate, they put across whatever they are putting without really destroying what we have. A more suitable approach is to incorporate risk corridors during project design and construction phase. Plans, city docs, design related service corridors to gradually reduce future excavation requirements. The approach preserves infrastructure integrity while facilitating expansion. There was one of principles of effective right of way. Successful right of way management is built upon four fundamental principles. First is proactive participation, integrated planning, stakeholders engagement, data monitoring. Proactive acquisition. Right of way acquisition should occur before project construction commences. Experience demonstrate that resolving acquisition issues during construction will cost 3 or 5 times more than addressing during project execution. This has been a recurring problem, like I said, nature or way we package our project, especially after, the project cycle is not allowed to go. Most times our leaders want to one minister will say, you civil servant have 35 years, yeah, I have 4 years. So he wants that to be done in 4 years. So, but two, we have like our former minister, the council of this, we have a project now, they lost our country, we are now at the exception report. So, what is important because choose the right alignment. We are going to do what we do in highways. Highways are what we call HDCO1, Highway Development Corridor 01. Now, when you now get this alignment, along that alignment, we take the offset of all the infrastructure along that alignment. We document it on a paper. So once you do that one, you now engage stakeholders. There will be jingles, everybody will know. And as you are taking them to put the date and time, so that when you have this one, when you are talking to them, everyone will know that, gentlemen, as of today, government intends to do this particular project, and these are the infrastructures that are there. It's documented, the state, the local government, everybody will see it. So when you do this one now, you get your service. That was you must show your relevance. If you get those preliminary costs at that time, and nobody comes to build something there, I think we are safer. But if you don't engage stakeholders and they just hear about the news that the government want to build a property around that place, if I'm the one, I'll just go and build a small house there. Even you have not used it. So put shrine. So put, you know all those things. So by the time you come, you see that it will affect what you are doing. So that proactive acquisition is important. Integrated plan infrastructure corridors should be planned collectively rather than individually. Roads, railways, pipeline, power lines, and communication networks should be coordinated to minimize conflict and optimize land acquisition. This one talks about the need for also planning together. But how do you do it? Now we are building a rail line from Kano to Maradi, just bridge there. You know, the same study was done some years back, and based on that was a design. Of course, they went through, okay, we have 10 bridges, river bridges, surface separation, and what have you. Now, 10 years after, or some years after, even 2 years after, the state governors are ambitious too. Some of them decide to build roads that are crisscrossed everywhere. Now, by the time you go, the number of bridges must increase because those roads they build, you can't stop them from moving. So either you go above or they go above. So all these things, if you have met them and we agree that this is what we intend to do, that way we'll be able to incorporate whatsoever they are doing into what we are doing. So we must engage everybody so that we'll be on the same page, to articulate and include whatever they are doing in what we are doing too. And to be both vertical and horizontal. Vertical, federal, state, and local government. Horizontal, different ministries works for federal, works of transport of federal, you have the power of federal, these are all federal established, but they also build infrastructure. So if they are in the know, I think it will help us. There's a document we have in 2002 or what, talking about Nigeria infrastructure manufacture. I think we have to be updating this so that we'll be able to know that this is what this particular person wants to do. Then stakeholders engagement. Early engagement promotes transparency, build trust, and facilitate cooperation. Communities that understand budget benefits are more likely to support implementation and less likely to resist acquisition efforts. This too is also a problem. On Kaduna Abuja railway line, you look at the try to fence most of the data, and we know what the fence look like. Of them. Able to pay the contractors and because very outbound this not there. The best thing to say was analyzed by the the reality is that along those areas you see community. Whether there's the same tribe or these are coming like a billion before. Now you have put a barrier, create an act. It all work. Sometimes you see animals cross that particular people, you know that they will come to the animals. You don't create an event, it don't work. So mindful of this, I'm kind of married now, we are creating open so that they can cross. Also, cattle can also move. So there's seamless movement and the communities they are happy. So stakeholders engagement is very, very important. Data driven monitoring. Water corridor management requires continuous monitoring supported by digital technology, the fiscal system, and real-time data. Timely information enables early detection of encroachment and facilitates preventing action. Maybe you said that you tell us whether we should start now. Everybody engaged now to go digital. Very, very important because some of the issues we have has to do with some of this compromise. So we must find a way so that our data becomes visible. Of course, we are always being thrown by challenges from security agencies, that UCS, and what have you. So once we have this, it becomes easy to upload. But once we do, we just upload it. If you don't hide anything from anybody, I don't think you have cause to ask why and what is happening. So they emphasize the role of technology. The role of technology in modern rights of way management. Technology is transform right of way management worldwide through geographic GIS enable accurate mapping, documentation, visualization, and monitoring of infrastructure corridors. It provides digital inventory of assets, boundaries, and land ownership information. Building information modeling, building information modeling. It supports integrated infrastructure planning by creating digital representation of assets and corridor components. Potential conflicts can be identified before construction begins. Drones and lidar. Drones survey provide rapid cost-effective corridor inspection. Lidar technology implements highly accurate terrain and infrastructure models useful for planning and monitoring. Internet of Things. Sensors along infrastructure corridors can continuously monitor conditions and provide early warning and signals for maintenance requirements. While digital corridor management platforms. Integrated digital platforms as permits companies, inspections, maintenance records, and enforcement, creating complete lifecycle visibility. So these options, we must choose the one, not decide the best fit, one that suits us. Because there are some, if you put them there, the next day they will not be there. In the picture of somebody who came and there's a street light, this solar one, put it into the it's something that we know, but the essence that moving will make a difference in what we are doing. Now, economic benefits of data video management gives substantive project control access and better information lifespan increases considerably when place system function properly. The station is controlled and unauthorized activities are prevented. We had this thing when Fashola was minister, this was called AGMI, Highway Economic Development Initiative. And at that time, the intention was that for the road corridors, all the right of way should be improved and to address this issue. I, at that time, was in Canada. The governor at that time, if you go to Canada, all the bridges, they try to buy them.
31st August 2026.
It was beautiful. But two, there was issue of
Yeah,
ownership.
the minimum acceptable
The other thing is that
and the
parents
minimum
not even accept
acceptable rent already communicated.
that. After Jamila, they say they call
Acceptable rent already communicated to you and accepted by you. Mr. However,
Come up with compromise. So can see that these are things that will affect Nigeria. Public confidence also increase while transportation corridors remain safe, reliable, and well regulated. If those areas are cut, while traveling can have a long visibility, we'll be able to see what is happening ahead of you. Right of way maintenance best practice. Effective maintenance requires a proactive rather than reactive approach. The station should be controlled through scheduled clearing programs. Drainage system require regular inspection and maintenance to prevent erosion and flooding. Encroachment should be addressed consistently and fairly, supported by education and social support programs that are preventive maintenance schedules should place emergency interventions wherever possible. These are things that we know, but reality is that sometimes funding may be a problem. So, because tell you that the money cannot be sure funding is a problem. Global best practices and lessons for Nigeria. Countries with successful global management systems share common characteristics. We are learning from these people, at this so that we know that these things are possible. In Japan maintains strict enforcement, controls supported by technology and community cooperation. India has utilized digitized extensive railway and records and established dedicated land management units. South Africa utilizes GPS enabled corridor inspection programs integrated into national monitoring system. UK applies predictive maintenance strategies supported by advanced vegetation management system, while in Brazil they employ satellite monitoring for extensive grid network. So these things are practical ways. I think if you are predictive one, everything has a lifespan. If you build a road as a human being, that's the lifespan. So be able to predict what will happen ahead of time, you prepare for it. You say teaching time saves nine. So before it becomes too big, be able to live in the body where it becomes a problem. Then when you do your routine maintenance, it becomes easier. But you know, yeah, most times when something is failing, once it becomes catastrophic, that's when we start shouting. At that point, it becomes unredeemable. So proactiveness is important. These examples demonstrate that successful right of way management combined with technology, professional capacity, legal enforcement, and stakeholders collaboration. That's what it says. Nigeria experienced the role of railway property in economic company. The Nigerian railway property are the ones that manage our right of way. Yeah, there's this ministry and the NRC. Presently, capital projects are being supervised by the ministry. Immediately it is completed, handed over to the Nigerian corporation. So they manage it. And under them, they have the properties as one of their sovereign. It's a unit there headed by an MT2 to oversee this thing. The law requires management company represents an important example of quality management innovation in Nigeria. As the structure of the National Corporation, RPMC is responsible for commercializing non-operational railway lands while preserving operational property. Its ongoing initiative includes property audits, digital land management system, general verification, encroachment control, and revenue generation through leasing arrangement. Importantly, IPMC promotes leasing rather than outright disposal of railway land, thereby preserving strategic national assets while generating sustainable revenue. Recent recovery efforts undertaken with state governments demonstrate the potential for coordinated enforcement and corridor restoration. So that's what we do. Like I said, when we consult our really, after we acquire the right of way, we are supposed to gather them, then hand over to rural corporation. But the challenge is that even though we do that and these are these things, the other ones in the bush, there are so many areas that are not under their satellite. Those ones can be compromised before they go to be a problem. So the case in point is that of the one with the state government mentioned here. They too build their owners of that place. So we have to correct it from them. And usually what we have problems with states because they'll tell you if you acquire this land, if you are going to give it that way, we too we need this land. So sometimes we have to have this understanding that this land is supposed to be for the development of the railway corridor, maybe other infrastructures, be maybe where the trains, if they are loads, they can keep them there. Could be dry spots, maybe dry spots around those areas. So once you have this understanding, they will not have problem. And we need to go like from Lagos to Abuja, to Kano, Lagos to Ibadan now. The railway is moving, and we have a dry spot in Ibadan. So presently we evacuate goods, and the last time we went there with the parcel, we saw that one trip like that can evacuate more than 30 locomotives. Sorry, for pockets. That's more than 30 trucks all the way. So if you are able to do that one, it saves you. So you can see that doing the right thing for the railway will also save the road from getting damaged. So we are supposed to do the right thing. Now, issue of policy recommendation. To strengthen right of way management nationwide, several actions are recommended. First, establish a national right of way coordination framework supported by an interagency committee to harmonize acquisition, compensation, duty stipulation, corridor protection, and enforcement. My suggestion, I know it's not going to be, but that's one of the things because this uncoordinated thing is not helping us. If you go to Maralaba now, you see what they are doing construction. That's who that goes to get the federal government road. And check again. That far back in 1990 something, the market was not having the kind of people in building around that area. And we made considered effort to tell them that we want to expand that road up to give. But you see, despite building what they call like the national market, yes, it's like those untouchable decided to build those buildings. And today, they are trying to create an overhead, and that is very, very expensive. So these are some of the things we must try to see that we implement policy. It's sad that even when you implement the policies, another person will come and implement it. I think if we are able to understand the situation, maybe it will help us develop something. Secondly, mandate digital mapping and restriction of all major infrastructure corridors. Then, integrate utility corridors into infrastructure design to reduce future installation and disruption. Fourth, strengthen legal and institutional framework, improve enforcement and improve regulation. Five, institutionalize regular corridor audit and emission assessment. Six, expand public awareness programs on the importance of protecting infrastructure corridors. Finally, provide sustainable funding for corridor management and maintenance activities. I think these things, even though we say funding is a problem, these are things we can get in policy. If they know they can manage this right of way, give them some corridor, and develop it to generate businesses that will be able to sustain this. So I think at this point, while I want to take the options on how to take care of this issue coming, if we advertise it, who will be interested? We have many people are coming to what they can do as investment in the railway company. And the right of way as we have today and we are not properly utilized. Like I said, if we are able to get all stakeholders, sign our goods of railway and put all other infrastructure so that everybody can be we will be able to utilize it. Other clients have done their own and they are now building platforms above the roads. Who is financial guidance for a course, association of panel. People are going underground now. They're even talking of maybe building somewhere in all those things. It has gone very, very but if you don't utilize the right of way, suddenly it will be very, very expensive and difficult to manage. You can imagine if you have a project and there's no light problem. So this is what that we have. Let's try to manage the ladies and gentlemen, the future of Nigeria control depends not only on what we do, but on how effectively we protect, manage, and maintain what we produce. Right of way corridors are strategic national assets. They provide the space for which transportation systems, city network, and economic activities depend. When properly managed, they enhance safety, reduce costs, prolong access to life, attract investment, and improve public confidence. When neglected, they become sources of conflict, inefficiency, accidents, and financial losses. When particular thing is going, if we are 20 routes that we are marked for ADMI, and for the federal activity, asset was for 1.1 billion, and for going to create about 250,000 jobs, direct and indirect. Granted that most times what we still have in that job, I don't have. We are able to engage people, no matter how minor is go a long way in helping us. The departure was clear. Proactive planning, digital transformation, coordinated governance, stakeholder engagement, and sustained maintenance. Better right of way environment is not merely an operational necessity. It is an investment in the future, sustainability of Nigeria, commercial and to get the corridor right, infrastructure will serve the nation economy. Thank you very much.
I was thinking that clap with Rebecca and louder. You didn't just start on this, it was very good. Do we agree with that? They just gave us a sense that one lies ahead is greater. Once again, I want to say a very big thank you to you. Very, very positive and responsible. Please don't get ready for us because we'll give you for 2 questions and you respond to because some people are eager and itchy to get more clarity because this is very interesting. Of course. And for me, I don't know what you took out, but I've just come to see from everything he has said that right of way management should be viewed not merely as a land administration function, but as a critical component of infrastructure management. Therefore, it is the future of Nigeria's infrastructure. Sorry, the future of Nigeria's infrastructure depends not only on what we do, but on how we effectively protect, manage, and maintain what we do. So I think the theme for this year's seminar is not just timely, but will be also better right of way management and maintenance. Once again, let's give a round of applause. Give a very
because we are moving a bit faster, we want to seize the opportunity to ask questions to one to be taken
trying to apply the rate government for crops. I want to apply areas where you have oil companies, where oil companies pay very comes a challenge to any application for this. So the very interesting topic, because virtually everything that goes right of the practice.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We are not also forgetting the people that have joined us virtually. If you have your question, you can drop it there, then we take it as we go.
Is it unmuted? Yes. What are the speaker now? Okay, some people are coming for.
This aggregate and release your rate. By the time you put it, people will start packing into the house. To pay them, let them pay them. They are nice compromising the integrity of that and to affect the sustainability of that. So I think the practical way is to have that table as an agent and then also involve those area people that will change that environment. If there is mistake, employ them, let them be the ones to monitor it. I think it's better that way. That maybe that's the way to start.
Yeah, thank you so much. That answers your question. My question, reaction to what you have said, I want to totally agree with you that the best way to, sustain and take hold of this acquired right of way is by localizing the monitoring. And that is by way of engaging the people in the environment where the infrastructure is situated. And in the case of railway, any community that it passes through, you engage them, employ them to, monitor the vandalization. That's the aspect of vandalism. Then again, my own question is, if the ministries have, an intention, because we are talking about right of way management and maintenance now. And you mentioned in the course of your presentation that the railway management, the rail management corporation manages the infrastructure of the Nigeria railway services or maybe transport railway. Is there a way or intention to outsource it to maybe investors that will utilize those unused corridors, so to say? Because in most cases, you acquire a bigger span, then you use a smaller part of it, and the remaining part of it becomes a bit redundant. But there are ways where if you give it to investors, they can run it. Is there an intention or a plan to outsource such facilities? Thank you.
And let me add to the earlier question, the use of technology, because no matter what we do, the human intervention, we have limitation. So we also have proposals whereby we engage technology so that you can have a real-time vision of what is happening. So the challenge we have now, cost is very, very expensive. So we engage some of the people that come with proposals, especially in terms of the gas pipeline. What is happening? So how we so this one will take care of issues that are beyond the local compromise we have. So if we have that one, it's a very long way. One of the problems we have now is because we have a robust grid that is in charge, but overseas everywhere. Ahead of time, they will tell you at this hour, don't go to that particular place. What Katina despite the challenge there, we'll be able to have our way so that the work can continue. Now, concerning the honorable parties, I think they are open to anybody to have an investment plan. I've never had them restrict anybody. Once you come with your proposal, they will attend to you. Once the space is free, especially that someone did, but they cannot give you what another person and instead of another person. But if you go there with a plan, or a good intention to develop the place, if you go there as a group, we will welcome you because we don't want that to be done to life value. So anything that can be done to develop that place, just like I just said, they will not give, they will just leave the land. Because some of these leases will be up to 50, good enough. So if you go there with your proposal, then you will attend to you.
Please, do we have any questions from those that are online? Technical. Okay, any questions? it's important we ask the necessary questions to arising from this seminar, we are going to do better than what we did currently as a right of way professional. We'll be having a tea break now to, just for an hour or 30 minutes. We have our next speaker who will be joining us. Thank you very much. The tea break.
While we wait for the tea break, permit me to quickly bring to your notice some of the materials that will be very, very useful to you pertaining right of way management and maintenance. Okay, we have global infrastructure, real estate, we have wrong property rights. We also have a unified vision, an interview with National President Ivy Means, SRWA. Also have road to Long Beach. Also available, I think one like we have AI and the future of right of way public management. This can also with International President Kobe Coleman, SRWA. Okay, I think you on your way out at the registrations now will have all of these materials at the stand. Please do well to pick some, if not all of it, because they'll be very resourceful to you. And each of them goes for 1,000 naira, very affordable.
My hand, they have not unmuted me. Have they unmuted me now to talk?
Somebody is raising hand there for a question. Please check. Please check.
Mr. Chairman, can I talk now? Are they hearing me?
Sir, I can hear you. I don't know if they are hearing
yes,
you.
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
I can hear you, my chief, sir.
All right. Can I make my comments, please? On the first paper presented by Zera. Can I go ahead?
Please,
hello?
sir.
Can I go ahead?
You can go
Can
ahead,
I make
sir.
all right.
You can go ahead, please, sir.
All right, please. I want to thank Engineer Zera for that presentation. But my comments is generally I'm talking towards the aspects of management and maintenance, because he has highlighted issues which I want us in this discussion to look at what is globally being practiced, and we should look at how we can encourage our acquiring authorities here to look more inwards, because permit me to use the word, our local acquiring authorities, they have forgotten a very vital as they have, let me not say forgotten, they are not taking a serious aspect about the management and maintenance of what they have acquired. And because of that oversight, instead of becoming an value added to their system generally or their portfolio, it looks as if it is a waste. What I am trying to say is that, for instance, if you go to a place like China, most of the right of way acquired by any of the authorities, be it water, power, roads, they are properly registered, and there are titles passing from the from the donor, the people who have been expropriated to the acquiring authority. And once these compensations are paid and documented, it is right for the acquiring authority to register it. But we find it here that most of our acquiring authority, after acquisition, even to secure the right of way which has been acquired legally, because of the cost, initial cost involved, they are not being implemented. I stand to be corrected. For instance, all the right of ways acquired by, let me take for instance, TCN, or even the Niger Delta Power Holding, which has been a forefront runner in this business. Because of the initial cost of registering these acquired titles, after the acquisition, they use the road, like let me use Niger Delta. Immediately the lines are strong and the contractors move out of sight. What happens thereafter? It is left for all of us to imagine. But if these right of ways acquired are registered and duly vested in the acquiring authority, that is stage one. After the legal acquisition and vesting it in the acquiring authority, there is another proposal for them to secure them properly. For instance, I saw it in China. There is something like on the power line, all the acquired right of they put something like between the 30 meters. There is a barbed wire line. Throw out the line, and now when they have done that securely, it becomes an income generating thing for the authority. For instance, let me take, because let us bring it nearer home. If you imagine that the right of way already acquired by Niger Delta Power Holding, let me take, for instance, from Ajakuta into Abuja, immediately they have strung the lines, which are mostly external. That those lines will serve for gas lines, for the gas pipeline. It will serve as for other uses, and these acquiring authorities will now it will become an income generation element for them. But this is an aspect which we need to bring our people to understand, that you have to use money to look for money. If you see the volume of acquisitions done, if they secure them properly and own it legally and physically, they will, in fact, whatever they have expended as acquisition costs and compensation can be recovered over time. That is an aspect I really want us to highlight, so that we can, as right of way professionals, we will be happy and willing to cooperate with the government or its agencies to make this a permanent requirement for a complete right of way acquisition. Thank you. I hope you have heard me.
Very well, sir. Thank you, sir, for the contribution and the impactful statement you made, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much.
They're kind of getting impact. How can that be? I think that's a summary of what I'm trying to mention.
I want to say last when you do this application, it's a problem. It's a problem because when the project is being packaged, the money put there is just for application. The money for gathering and all those things are not components of the project. So that's the role we have to play now. Most people comment know that when you are acquiring land, it does not end in just providing land for the project, but you must also ensure that everything is done. No matter the cost, if we do a comparative cost analysis of getting it done and not being done, it's cheaper to be at the end of the day. So we must present this case so that when government is supposed to do it, it's done at the right time to save the future. Otherwise, either you lose the land or there will be a lot of things that will happen. So I think despite the cost of what it entails, we should see that we do advocacy for this thing to be done. So what I know. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Any other question from the online? I want to quickly recognize the presence of the treasurer of our chapter 84 while the presentation was on. He walked in. Amin Shaibu, you're welcome, sir. Let me also quickly recognize the presence of our guest speaker that have joined us, who will be having immediately after the tea break by 12:15. Exactly. After the tea break, we'll be having him. He is from NMPC. His name is Zumozu H. Uzua. You're welcome, sir. All right. Thank you. The tea break now.
Thank you very much. Meanwhile, if you have a need to compress, they have conveniences immediately at the exit from the door. To your left, you'll see that of the veil, that's again, and then to your right, sorry, immediately beside the registration point, you will have the one for the ladies. Thank you very much. So we can proceed for the seat break, please. So we are providing 12:15. you.